Happy Saturday night, ladies and gentlemen, ladies and germs. Let me start off right off the bat, without any further ado, without any delay whatsoever, without any dilatoriness on my part. And thank you. Something I've been very, very remiss. You know, we don't say thank you enough, and I don't, and I'm terrible at that. I should be horsewhipped for this. But I want to thank you for your absolute 100% solid and total, or as we say here in New York, total, uh, just your loyalty throughout the years, but especially now. We have become. I don't know what this is. I have talked about a lot of things over the past, and they've been very, very up and down and various vicissitudes and the like. And I am telling you, ooh, thank you. Ooh, my frothy. Yeah, let me get that. It's a little too frothy. Oh, I like that. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's good. That's good. Ooh. We just discovered I had this device on our coffee machine the whole time. Never knew it was there. It said pressure. I said, okay, I hit it. We got this beautiful froth like a cappuccino. So any event. But thank you for this. Thank you. We have, in my humble opinion, IMHO, one of the best groups of people, the most ardent, the most loyal, the most fascinating, the most, what words would you use? The most focused and the most appreciative of true and haters of synthetic. You know what word you use all the time? You do? Truth. You should see your comments. I can't possibly comment to all yours. I just can't. There's just too many. I would be commenting all day long. But what you say repeatedly, without delay, without hesitation, is thank you for sticking up for Candace. She has hit a nerve. I was trying to tell somebody this. I don't think people understand it. I think they sort of think maybe we're a little crazy. And by the way, if people don't think I'm crazy, I'm not doing something right. I'm not doing something right if nobody is scratching their head saying, what is this guy talking about? I don't think this is a niche type of subject matter. I don't think our arduous faith in Candace is something that's that strange. I think it is more common than people would ever realize. And I think it's something that people are really not in any position to really grasp unless you've been in it. Something about this, something happened. It was very, very interesting. Maybe I'm reading too much into this, but I doubt it. It's almost as though we recognize the fact that they were coming after her. And she didn't, go after anybody. She wasn't mean or unfair. She was basically started off concerned about her friend Charlie. And everything was great until they made this dingleberry, the CEO and head. And then everything fell apart. Everything fell apart. And then, and only then did Candace and did we say, wait a minute. This doesn't seem right. This doesn't make any sense. And I can't say that enough. Think about this. She didn't go after anybody. I read these stupid articles, these ridiculously placed articles. One of them said that her godparent to her kid or something, or somebody's, I don't know, said, I kind of wish she would stop this. Schmuck, don't you understand how this, it's like they don't know what happened. They make it sound like Candace has just been mean throughout this, or that this is somehow trivial, or that we don't have anything better to do. Let me say something. From the beginning, at every layer, at every level, at every interstitial atomic foci of this entire event, this woman, Erika Kirk, has turned out to be the biggest phony, synthetic, fraudulent, a lie from top to bottom. I asked this the other day, and I ask you, name one thing that she has ever done or said that is legitimate, that is true, that held up. Can you think of anything? I can't. Can you think of anything? I can't. I can't think. I can't think of anything. I don't. Every single thing. And I'm thinking, why don't you folks realize this? Why aren't you paying attention to what's happening? Everything. It's been a lie. Everything. And then through the most arduous, the most dedicated, the most focused deep dive I have ever had the opportunity and awe to observe, you came out of nowhere, pointing everything from Fort Huachuca to plain tail numbers to the history of Lori Franz, her family, her fathers, the lies, it is, we're not done yet. I am so sick. How many, would you be surprised if she had another family, another children that she abandoned on an island? No, there is nothing that you could ever say about her where you would say, no, that's impossible. I swear to you, and I want you to listen to me. Listen very carefully. Name anybody. Meghan Markle, Kim Kardashian, Fergie. These people are more transparent than this woman. Fergie, by the way, is one of the most vile curs, harridans, meretrices you have ever in your life ever met. But she's sincere. She is exactly what she pretends to be. She is vile. She is invincible. She's vile. Kim Kardashian, base, but that's who she is. She's not somebody else. She's just plastic and artificial. Go down to Meghan Markle. You know who Meghan Markle is. Meghan Markle kind of sort of has kind of a checkered past with her family and her father, but she is who she is. Erika is not who she is, which leads us to this. Candace, if you or anyone is listening, you must challenge her one-on-one. I don't know what happened when you first met. I don't know what happened when you first. I don't know what happened. I remember that she flew into wherever it was, or they had that sit down, and we never really heard what happened. We never really heard what was covered. Really, nothing. We never heard what happened. We never, ever got to feel what was covered, what was not, what was agreed to, what was spoken. Never. And this was at the beginning. So I don't think anything was done, because I cannot see a moment, a hesitation, a delay in anything that Candace has indicated, where she's holding back or she's not talking about something. But I want you to stop for a second and think about this. How much would you pay, with all proceeds going to Wounded Warriors or whatever charity, legitimate charity there is? What would you pay to see them in a one-on-one, 90-minute, no holds barred, only one person leaves the octagon? No physical, of course, but looking right at each other. No interruption. You can't leave. You can't say, I've had enough. Nobody can throw in the towel. Colvett or one of these handlers can't come in and say, stop it. No. You lock the door. The clock starts 90 minutes. And whatever happens, happens. What would you give? How much would you pay for that? It's priceless. All the questions. Think about this. 2 questions. What would Candace ask? It would go on literally forever. What would Erika ask? What would she ask? What would Erika ask? What? Does she have any dirt on anybody? Or did you notice how Laura Loomer went away? Remember all the terrible things about George Farmer. George Farmer was a serial killer from Bentonville, Maryland. It's like, what? George was on all these accidents and this and that. And it just went away. Something happened there. Settlement, threat, cease and desist. I don't know. Where did she go? Where did Laura Loomer go? She was there every single day, absolutely vicious to the point of, and I thought to myself, if ever there was something that screamed, maybe Candace didn't want to file, maybe she didn't want to be the plaintiff, maybe she just wanted to deal with this. But as you know, when you are suing somebody and you are a public figure, and Candace Owens certainly is a public figure, you have to prove malice on the part of the individual that you are suing, the defendant, either as reckless disregard for the truth, knowing that it's false, something along those lines. Do you hear this? This is something which is the most critical. What can be done? What can be done? What is the best way for her to handle it? Because if anything, if Laura Loomer in any way, if the stuff she was saying, and people were saying, who was it? In fact, even in the community notes of X, they're saying, no, that's not George Farmer. No, that didn't happen. No, this didn't happen. This is wrong. And not only is it wrong, but it's wrong. So something happened. I don't know if there was something done, if lawyers spoke. I don't know. But where is she? Where did she go? Where is Laura Loomer? She doesn't just go quietly into that dark night or whatever the particular phrase is. Where is she? She was coming out. She was frothing, seething. What happened? Somebody told her back off. Who do you think it was? Who do you think it was? Trump? Trump's people? Who? What? What was that? What was that? You see what I'm saying? Where did it go? As you call her, Larry. Where did Larry go? What happened? See, always remember something. One of the best skills you must maintain, one of the best skills you must always maintain is the ability to know what is different, what is different, and what's missing. Where did someone go? Do you see what I'm talking? Where did someone go? You see, as you know, things change, and it's very easy to see what's added on. Very easy. But difficult sometimes to see what is missing. What is missing? What's changed? What have you noticed that's changed? First and foremost, they're backing off. Nobody is laying a hand on Candace. No one. No one. Nikki Gunner six. Wait a minute. Hold. We got a new member. Nikki. Everybody give a rounding applause. Just give a hello, a Heidi Har. A hi-ho silver and a Heidi ho to our new friend, Nikki Gunner 6. Nikki, go to the front of the line and you get some crumb cake. Please. Make room for Nikki. She's a new member of the family. Be nice. Everybody say hello. Wonderful. What's missing? What have you noticed? Remember, all of these little things, all of these people, they're pretty much, Laurie Franz, she's gone. The TPUSA crowd, there's nothing there. There's just little boys pretending, trolling each other. I don't know what's happening. What is next? What is next? What is next? Now, how do we get Erika to participate in this? How do you do it? You challenge her. You flood this. We start anew for charity. For charity. Not for TPUSA. No, you know where that's going. That'll never see. Understand this? But you have to understand specifically something very, 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 very simple. What is happening? What is the next step? How do we get Erika out from the crevices, out from the shadows? You challenge. And there is a cacophony, a rain of chants, sobriquets, of almost mantras. I don't know what it would be, the rumble in the, not say rumble in the jungle, but I mean, but something along those lines, and challenge her because somebody would benefit. It would be bigger than anything. And what could be her excuse? Nothing. The only thing she could possibly say, the only thing she could say is to just capitulate. She could capitulate, my friends. DW called their attack dog back. Jeremy B got called out about the PDF file he hired. Larry Looney is now quiet. Interesting. Well, it's interesting about this. I'm not sure. You don't tell Candace Owens what the terms of the conditions are. You don't do that. She'll tell you this. She's ready to go. Candace, if you're listening. And by the way, just to let you know, Candace is doing some various aspects of her very, very busy life. And she said that she would be more happy to join us here on The Nation next month. What she said, and I don't want to bother her, and I said, very good, my lady. Thank you very much. And these are questions I want to ask. But I'm serious. Think. Who's calling the shots? TPUSA is dead. It is dead. It's almost a museum piece. It's like it was Charlie's. It was his rendition. Our good friend Katie Cat says, when do you think Mikey McCoy will finally talk? Do you think he may be called to testify? Then what? You know, Katie, it's a very, very, very good point. Here is my question, and you kind of beat me to it. Are we then going to go into the battleground? To wit, and I'm not going to be accused of champerty or maintenance or anything like that. I'm not a lawyer who is recommending necessarily that there be some kind of litigation. But if I spoke, if I was a part of the Candace Owens team, I would say, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for us to consider being the plaintiff in this. Up till now, no one has really had to fear you. No one has had to fear you. They knew you would come out with this bloodied salvo of verbal attacks. You would have a number of people like Barron and yours truly and others that go down the list and who would be there backing her up, backing Candace Owens. But that only goes so far. That's not important. What I think at this particular point is to use the courts and to once and for all absolve this. And let me go through a kind of a two-tiered attack. Number one, civil litigation seems to be absolutely ripe at this point. There are these wonderful Supreme Court in legal terms, ripeness, standing, a justiciable issue. There are many, many reasons why, for example, the Supreme Court, as an example, will not hear your case. One is you don't have standing. Who are you? Well, I'm a taxpayer. And I don't like the taxes that you're filing. Taxpayer standing, you don't have that. Sorry. You cannot bring a lawsuit. You don't have any bearing on the case. You have no you have no standing. You've got to be one of the an acceptable parties. How about ripeness? It hasn't come yet. It hasn't flowered into. It's too early. It just started. You have it. There's other things too. You can, like in tort, we have court torts. You have damnum absque injuria, a wrong without an injury. For example, nobody got hurt. You almost got hurt, but there's all kinds of things. So I think at this particular point, the damage to reputation, the damage to, and by the way, interestingly enough, and this is a very good thing to have, Candace's only problem would be in that most of the time, her fame, her position, her stature, her I think her popularity, her metrics, all of these have increased exponentially by people coming after her. It's a very interesting thing. And that doesn't mean she wasn't defamed. That doesn't mean, but think about what has been said. Number one, Laura Loomer. Absolutely. I don't understand that one. I don't understand any of them. And people always say, and you'll hear this sometimes. Oh, I love the idea. I love the idea of there being a lawsuit because we'll have the chance for discovery. What does that mean? Forgive me if I'm saying something to you, which you may already know, but sometimes it's good to just remind people of something. Unlike criminal cases, the discovery that you have in a civil case is absolutely plenary. It is open. It allows you to investigate possible defenses, possible claims. In civil procedures, civil litigation, it gets really interesting. Criminal is pretty simple. The government, the state, the United States versus the defendant. The United States, the people of Massachusetts, whatever, versus Joe Smith, John Doe. That's it. You might have multiple co-defendants, but that's about as complicated. But in this, in civil, you have third-party action. You have so-and-so, you have Candace Owens versus Laura Loomer. Laura Loomer can counterclaim back. She can have say, while I'm in court, and courts always encourage, while you're here, do you have a claim? I most certainly do. Well, tag it on. Kind of helps with the filing fees. Now that we're in court, I'm going to sue you. And then somebody could say, well, wait a minute. If I'm liable, well, then he's liable. Then that's a third-party action, and it gets interpleader and oh my God, back and forth. You can have so many cross claims, counter claims. It gets really interesting. So during the course of this, if something becomes available to you, say, wait a minute, I've got something interesting here. I found out that Laura Loomer may not be the person we're after. The person we're after is the person who is funding Laura Loomer. And I get to ask Laura Loomer about who is funding her, who is her benefactor. And then later on, it can bring that person in. And it just goes, you can go within reason so far in order to, as long as you can say, I'm building a case. This is a defense. This is a claim, a counterclaim. This is whatever it is. So going back to what I would love for somebody once and for all to say, who is this Laura Loomer? Who funds you? Who is your benefactor? Why are you taking orders for someone else? What is the Laura Loomer structure? Who is responsible? Etc., 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 etc. Can you imagine where that one goes? And then you'll have people who basically, you get some kind of infighting. And the thing about Laura Loomer, she'll go berserk. She will lose her mind and become unglued, kind of like these women who are pulled over for traffic and just go batshit crazy. So that's that. Then you get the Mikey McCoys and others in the Colbitts, and you have the TPUSA, and then you may have something even like Civil RICO, or you can have loads of. And here's something interesting. When you are doing something and you say, lo and behold, in the course of my civil discovery, I find out that, I'm seeing something here that I think may borderline on criminal. The question is, do any of the aforementioned suffer potential criminal liability? Are any of these folks doing something, acting in the capacity of, let's say, as a board member of TPUSA or whatever, where you might have fraud, wire fraud, a variety of things? This could blow up. The moral of the story, what I'm trying to say is that Candace, methinks it is time for you to be the plaintiff. Why are you always reacting? Why are you getting the cease and desist? Why are you doing it? Why? People have to fear her. They fear her only in terms of the clout that she has, the popularity firepower that she has. She's very good at that. This is a different story, though. This is a different story. This is something far more complicated than what we're talking about right now. Because we can't go on with suspicious minds. I think Elvis at the best. No, we can't go on by doing all this stuff about, well, I did this deep dive and I found out that this guy, and guess what? Mikey and Colbin and this, and blah, blah. Okay, that's going nowhere. What does that mean? Nothing. Most people can't even follow that. What does that mean? I mean, it's important, but enough introductory work has been done for people to say, okay, now we're going to get into it. And I will bet you anything, in a special, and do we have the receipts, as we heard? Social media, X in particular, X is phenomenal. If people don't have X, you're missing everything. The number of people who don't use it, I don't understand. TikTok is for children. I know it's popular, but if you really want to know what's going on in the world, X is it. If somebody said, all right, deep divers, find anything the statute of limitations goes, it could be, I don't know, 4 years, 5, 6, let's make it easy. 4 years max. Go back and see, has anybody said anything about Candace that you think is unfair? Now remember, there's two things. There's defamation. Defamation is very interesting, and that's going to be libel because this is recorded. It's not slander. If anybody has accused Candace of having a loathsome disease, I don't think it's going to count this way, but I mean, that she's mentally ill. In the old days, they used to protect against saying somebody had leprosy or VD or AIDS in the old days. But they're expanding it to, if somebody says you have mental illness, you're crazy, not just you're acting kind of weird. That's one thing. And why is that? That brings us to libel per se. And it depends upon which jurisdiction you're going to be filing this in. But let's just assume libel per se is when damages are presumed. What does that mean? Normally, if you are a plain old defendant and a plain old plaintiff, and you are suing the defendant, you have to use just negligence. So-and-so said this about me. Well, what happened? I have suffered shame, ignominy, defamation, loss of reputation. My business suffered, blah, 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 blah. Because you've got to explain why this comment they made. But if somebody were to accuse you of having a loathsome disease, This is one of the categories. 2, committing a crime. Does anybody commit or suggest or accuse Candace of committing a crime? And that has a variety of manifestations. The third one, they used to say unchaste character. We pretty much got away from that. But if you accused a woman of being loose, of being some harridan, a meretrix, a virago, a charlatan, oh, okay, not a charlatan, but a grimalkin, a slattern, then that was libel per se. Damages are presumed. So if it's crime, loathsome disease, it used to be unchaste character. It might be another one. Anyway, if those categories, if you can say Laura Loomer or whoever said this, then Candace doesn't have to prove how that hurt her. It's obvious. Damages are presumed. TW is in bed with TPUSA. Steve Phillips and his boss. This is good. I like this. Very, very interesting. Now, what can we prove? What can we prove? You cannot use, how do I say this? You can't use conspiracy allegations. You can't use not conspiracy. You have to show these things. But as this starts off, and I want you to think about something. Candace Owens has always said nothing but her opinion. And if a jury were to hear this, they would say, my God. And the worst, I think, the worst of the worst. And now remember, I'm not done yet. There's one thing in particular. What some people have said about Candace regarding what I think is blatant racial comments, the picture of her in Time magazine, these nappy-headed, clearly racial. These terms today carry a lot of weight. They're very, very serious. Very, very, very serious. And it adds to the feel of this. Now, in addition to most cases of libel, there's another cause of action called intentional infliction of emotional distress. This is where you claim, not only or in addition to these terrible things being said about me, they were said about me in a way to cause me psychic, physical, emotional harm. You did this thing not just to make an allegation that was wrong. You wanted to hurt me and hurt my family. You wanted to hurt me. And when the jury says, my God, and then you ask, what did this woman ever do? What did Candace Owens ever do to warrant this? What did Candace Owens ever do to deserve this? Tell me, what was it? What did she do? Why do people hate her so much? I don't think everybody hates her. I think most people admire her. But the people who do, why is it? Let me tell you the lay of the land, or as my friend once said, a lay of the lamb. People, it's not so much that people hate her. It's they hate what she represents. And let me say something. Nobody likes Erika. Nobody. You like her theoretically. You feel for her because she's the poor widow, but you don't really believe it. Because there's nothing to grab onto. She keeps insinuating herself into all public discussion, even though she claims, leave me alone. I just want to go home. Think about this. Erika, do you want to go home and leave the controversy? Do you want to go home and not be bothered anymore by this? Do you want to be able to go out with your family and stop this? Here's what you do. Step down from CEO status and just be a civilian. Or I got a better one. Just stop appearing publicly. Keep your CEO status. Keep the salary or the perks or whatever it is. Just stop talking. Just stop talking. The moment you stop talking, the better it is. Can we, this is good, the shit show podcast is, can we normalize trusting our guts again about Erika Kirk? I think so. It's a very good thing. What does it mean to test your guts? What does that mean? What does that tell you? That's a very good point. What do you think? What does that mean? You are trusting instincts as terms of veracity, in terms of truth, in terms of how things are playing. There is something which is, well, let me just say two things, or three, or more. Number one is she has to be the plaintiff. Has to be the plaintiff. Where is Laura Loomer? There's stuff going on in the background. I'm only guessing. I don't know firsthand at all. But you know there's something going on. Because all of a sudden, Larry, as you say, she's just gone. She's just nowhere to be found. That's number one. Number two, and I want you to listen to me and really trust me on this one. If you want to do the most for Candace, the most, I want you to start thinking about her as a political force, not merely as a podcast favorite or as a as we speak right now. And forgive me for bringing politics into it, but you have to. Prior to this, it was Democrats and Republicans. And then within those two, you had right-wing Republicans and you had whatever. I mean, you had the libertarians and you had, Second Amendment people and gun people and fiscal conservatives. You know what I mean? You just had versions of it. Social conservatives, paleo conservatives, kind of like the Pat Buchanan National Review type. Okay, fine. And then even in the left, you had the left, the radical left, the far left, the crazy left. But it was left and right. That was it. Democrats and Republicans. Democrats and Republicans. Democrats, Republicans. And many of you said, I'm not a part of this. Two or 3 days. October the 7th, the Gaza case, this is the salvo, Israel, the attack, the Hamas attack, whatever you want to call it. October the 7th was a date that started everything. October the 7th. September, but before that, September the 10th. Well, actually, it was before that. September the 10th was Charlie. October the 10th, October the 7th was, I forget about this. Boy, these years go by. It was 2023. 2023. Wow. Everything in my life just flies by. So October the 7th, 2023. September the 10th, 2025 was Charlie. And all of a sudden, people started to say, wait a minute, hold it. Have you ever seen the way crop circles form? Have you ever seen them? Have you ever seen crop circles? Have you ever seen them caught allegedly on camera? There's like these beams or whatever, and all of a sudden they start moving over a field, and whoosh, there they are. There's the bent. That's kind of like what this is. These events happen, and then all of a sudden, here's Candace. Here's a lot of folks, people coming out of the woods. It almost is like Field of Dreams. Remember when all of them were walking out of they were walking from the cornfields. They were just walking out. It's like all these people came up. And everything happened then. People who didn't get along with each other, people who were prototypically left, prototypically right, all of a sudden on the issue of either Israel or Hamas or that was it, sort of. And then all of a sudden, here comes Candace. Here comes Candace. Here comes Tucker. Here comes everyone. Nona's fave says, the White House military email that Candace Owens disclosed. First sentence refers to Erika Kirk as an asset. Thoughts? You make my heart smile. Oh, beautiful. Thank you. That was an example, dear lady, of the government saying we're going to utilize everything. Now, people are going to question the authenticity of that email. They're going to say, was that really us? Whatever. But she is an asset. She is a dupe. She is a pawn. She is being played. But she is absolutely 100% indeed a pawn. She is being played perfectly in this. Perfectly. It's one of those things I cannot say enough. But think about what happened. All of these things led up, and nobody saw this coming. In our world of just plain old political podcasting and the like, we had a bunch of people, and now we have superstars. And we have people, and this is the most interesting thing, people who are not necessarily, people who are the strangest bedfellows, dare I say. And what do I mean by that? We have Cenk Uygur, Anna Kasparian, aligned with Tucker Carlson, Candace, Judge Napolitano, John Mearsheimer, Colonel McGregor, what am I saying? Larry Johnson. Just go down the list. Then you had people, Max Blumenthal, Aaron Mate, Katie Halper, others, they're coming in. Joe Rogan, he's coming in. He's coming out of the field. Joe Rogan, Theo Vaughn. All of a sudden, people are saying, hi, how are you? Well, hi, I'm Candace. Hi, I'm Tucker. Hi, I'm this. Hi, nice to know you. Wait a minute. Whoa. What happened to left versus right? Because they always wanted, and this may help you a little bit, they always wanted to make sure we were fighting each other. We were always divided. This orchestrated opposition. They wanted us always to be at each other's throats and fighting. And Candace came out brutally. Now, when she did this led her to be jettisoned from Prager and Daily Wire and enter Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapiro is going to be on the balls of his ass. Not literally, not in terms of financially, but his wealth, his Q rating, as they say, his popularity, he's done. He's finished. He's a joke. He shot his wad and it's over. Candace. They treated her horribly. So there's Candace. She's spinning around. There she was. She always was very, very, very serious about her thoughts about Israel and American involvement. Then came Charlie. Now throw that into the mix. Now we have spheres and orbits and whirlwinds. They're all like imagine tornadoes and hurricanes out in the Atlantic, just spinning around. Kind of not the same, but becoming part of one huge vortex. There's Candace. Other people are coming in. Then there are other people who say, what's all this that's going on? Hey, come on, join this. There's this lady named Candace Owens. She's really cool. Let's go and listen to what she has to say. Wow, I like her. And to put the nail in the coffin, because remember, all of this was just sort of, it was important. What did they do, ladies and gentlemen of the jury? What was the moment that changed everything? That changed everything. What was it? Mr. Mike says, the left versus right delirium is meant to divide us. Absolutely. It doesn't exist anymore, by the way. Because a lot of the folks, thank you, sir, a lot of the great people who were watching, they never even were a part of the left-right. But what happened was, they added one little catalyst, one little enzymatic catalyst, this thing that potentiated, and that person's name was Erika Kirk. Erika Kirk came into this, and when people stopped and said, holy shit, who's this? That's Charlie's wife. Have you ever heard Charlie's wife before? Not really. Have you ever listened to Charlie's wife before? Not really. Oh my God. She's out of her tree. Here comes Candace. Now we've got people, Trump coming in and not understanding. Trump doesn't get how this thing works. She said, oh, Erika, Charlie, okay, good, yeah. But no, wait. And before you can stop him, he's embracing her. And even he realized, like, what the hell is this? What is this? Who's this? She's in there. Now then, all of a sudden, the right wing just jumped in and glommed on because they said, well, again, not finding out who exactly they were defending, because nobody had any idea she could be this, not demented, but this completely out of her tree and so void and vapid in her subject matter. So the swirling is getting even bigger. Now we've got that. So then we got this, and we've got CPAC, who maybe wants to do this, and then TPUSA. And then throwing into this comes this murder case. It turns out there is no case. And we said, wait a minute. Now, remember, there's one thing about hurricanes. They're like a top. They're out, they kind of swirl around, but they might be in one position, but they move like a top. Into this swirl comes this Tyler Robinson case. And then you've got this woman, again, throwing her 2 cents in. And what has happened? All of a sudden, when, I don't want to use this analogy, but I will. When the queen ant, the queen bee, the queen wasp, the queen whatever it was, is sending out distress pheromones, everybody shows up. One of the worker bee or ant, is barren. He comes out of nowhere. I shouldn't say nowhere, because I was not as familiar with his work before as I am now. All of a sudden, with the bugle coming over the horizon, he comes in. And then Nissi, and then another one is Wolves of Finance. Oh my God, that's not only Charlie, that's in defense of her. Do you see what's happening? It's this, you're seeing like swirl patterns, crop circles. You're seeing this whirlwind. It's wild. And people who now want to jump in and say, well, I think I could jump in. Don't jump into this. You don't want to jump in. It's like a bar fight, but with machine guns and sabers. This is not a bar fight. If you get in there, you may not come out of this. And in the mix was a little bit about Brigitte Macron, a little bit. But she's entered the fray now because of the slapping around of Emmanuel. I'm not done yet. Now, if you think that's good, let's go to DC right now. They are walking around right now. And in the White House and in the halls of justice, they're sitting around with their ties loosened after China, after whatever this Iran thing was, after the Strait of Hormuz, and they're saying, what the fuck was that? Did you know that? Did you know this? No. The president was caught so flat-footed. Iran, biggest mistake anybody, you just put them on the map. And all of the people who had a very serious problem with Israel now feel almost vindicated in some respects because what they said was true. And all this stuff, the USS Liberty, and all the, which we knew about, now it's into the mix. Now we're talking about $310 billion. People are saying, I want my money back. Then comes Thomas Massey. Then comes all these other folks. Then comes, wait a minute. Then comes, throw in a Tucker. Tucker, another force to be reckoned with. This is taken off. It's like metastasis. I don't want to use this in a negative term, but it's almost like organ failure, but organ failure of this decrepit, putrid organ, so to speak, with this system, his body. And at the center of that is Candace Owens. Now, Candace Owens is not the center of Iran, but let me tell you something. Seaside, by the way, says, TR not walking out of jail alive. Thoughts? Oh, I've been saying this forever. And thank you for that. And the reason why Tyler is looking at a problem is because of the fact that things would be a lot easier if he just weren't around to keep gumming up the works. And you know what's also weird, Seaside, if something did happen, nobody would ask any questions. Now, going back to what's happening. In the course of all of this, Iran is bigger than ever. The Strait of Hormuz now belongs to them. The shit show says, I wonder why Erika Kirk is so protected by the elite. She's not really. They're just trying to go after Candace because Candace is powerful, brilliant, smart, and she seems to be somehow aligned. They really aren't. They really are. They're half-heartedly following Erika. Absolutely. But let me tell you what happened going back to this. Iran now is bigger than ever. Bigger than ever. Bigger than ever. They run the Strait of Hormuz. They run it. They're charging tolls. And the meeting, two things happened this past week. I told you this. The first was Robert Kagan saying, the king of the neocons saying, you all are. It's over. Iran is lost. It was a folly. We're done. We're out of here. Big mistake. You should have never done that. Lose, lose, lose. Number two, China. I want to talk to you about this, which is very important because part of your arsenal and understanding everything that's happening with Candace is to know what's going on in the world. In 1949, the people of China were eating dirt. Xi Jinping is the biggest, baddest. My God. He sets dates and goals. 1949 was a revolution, the People's Republic. 2025 is the first one. 2035 is the next goal. 2049, the centenary. They're going to be into quantum computing, AI at the likes of which you cannot believe. And the first thing he did when he met Trump, did you see how his hand was like that? Did you notice this? Xi Jinping is saying, what is his hand like that for? It is believed that somebody told him, Mr. President, or I don't even know what it is, Prime Minister Puba Pate Panjandrum, whatever you are. Trump loves to really kind of like grab, like manhandle you. Get a hold of him first. Don't let him shake your hand and do this. So this big guy said, all right. So he walked out like this. He was ready to go. And he got him and their hands froze. And the first thing he said, and I paraphrase is, don't you fuck around with Taiwan. You hear me? This is really stupid if you do that. Thanks for coming. Don't fuck around with Taiwan. Then he's talking about Thucydides' trap. Last time we saw that, we're an emerging nation, took on out of what Graham Allison cited 16 examples where 12 resulted in war. The last was the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month in 1918, World War I armistice. Holy. They went back, and I don't know if Jared Kushner, and I don't think Jared Kushner, I think he figures, I'm worried about my hedge fund and my this, my that, my connection with Israel. I don't really care one way or the other. That's Trump's business. I'm doing great. My portfolio is doing beautiful. I don't know how all of them are going to end up in terms of crypto or that. I don't know. But this guy got us. Why he's anywhere near the president, I have no idea. All right. So why do I say that? When Candace Owens starts talking again, and Tucker, about America first, people are going to say, he's right. And the reason why he's right is what I've just told you, for the foregoing reasons. These guys went to China. They were just sightseeing. They didn't get shit. Elon Musk was sightseeing. He was supposed to deal with this idea of rare earth metals. It's huge. Absolutely huge. So let me go back to this, not to belabor the point. The world that we live in is different now. Candace Owens is at the center. She may not know it. You may not know it, but I know it. She is at the center of this. And she did not know that everything she said would fall into place this much. You're going to see a new everything. Midterms coming up, and I'm going to leave you with this. We have a new party, and it's called, you fill in the blank. Third party, the Reform Party. It's almost like Nigel Farage and Brexit. I don't know what you want to call it, but it is bigger and badder and scarier than anything we have ever seen, my friends. Unbelievable. Bigger than anything. The world has changed. Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, and if he could get his shit together, I don't think he can. Nick Fuentes. Nick Fuentes has so much baggage that he caused, but even he kind of reached out. He was saying that what Candace was saying, Candace never ever was in any way as vile as some of the stuff that he said. People swear she was, but she never did. This is different than anything you've ever seen. TPUSA, CPAC, Fox News, proto kind of paleo conservatism, Sean Hannity, Rush Limbaugh, Ronald Reagan conservatism, done. It's over. It's over. There's a new person now. It is a younger person, believe it or not, more conservative the right way. See, when I say conservative to you react the way I do. Oh, you mean like family and faith and whatever, as opposed to no supply side spending and economics and pro defense. And see, that was the old time. That was the country club republicanism and conservatism. This is another story. Ladies and gentlemen, I am telling you right now, I am telling you, Erika Kirk, you were the catalyst. You made everything possible. You made everything possible. I mean it. You did something. You did it in a way that I never even. Candace Owens, you were at the epicenter. You were at the fulcrum. You're at the focal point of this. You don't realize this. Tucker, you have changed people's opinions regarding Thomas Massey about a lot of things. You have shaken them to the core. Left right is dead. And what's going to emerge of this, I predict, is a reform party. Not a third party, but a reform party. And this is the most important thing. And when when Erika also starts to say, excuse me, when Candace says, now I'm suing, and Larry Loomer, we're starting with you. Loomer will start singing like a canary. Who funds you? Who's behind you? Who is the paymaster behind all of this? Whom do we sue next in terms of who fungates? who provides this? Who actually fuels this horror? Who is responsible? If someone's like a conspiracy, who has it out for Candace Owens? And then the next step after that is when Candace Owens goes more political without running for office, but she says, I am telling you that we need, we've got Mason Storyteller. Welcome, welcome, welcome. When she says we have a brand new group of, they're black and they're white and they're this and that and they're kids and they're young and they're family members and they believe in something. And she says, and I'm going to do it for Charlie. Charlie, this is for you. All of you rat bastards actually took the word of Charlie and you blasphemed his legacy by making people think that this is the tripe that he spoke of. He never did. Ever. Listen to what I'm saying. This is a revolution you can't believe. This is a reformation. This is so big. And Candace, I can't tell you what to do. It's time for you to take the gloves off and you be the plaintiff. You have been so hurt, so blasphemed, defamed, libeled. You have been sullied, excoriated, execrated, blasphemed by so many people for so long. You've got to do it. And we are behind you 100%. Who's with me on this? Who's with me? There's an evil force here. I don't know what you call it. You might want to call it Satan or Luciferian or demons or demonic. I don't know. But there is an evil here. There is an evil. There is a bloodlust, a war cancer that revels in, that loves the killing of innocent children. The shit show says, Lionel, you had the privilege to see many times, many lines. Is it in your position a scary time, I said, or interesting time to be alive? It is both. If it's not scary, it's not worth living. It's always got to be scary. It's got to be worth it. That's a great one. Let me explain something. And you very good point. There is something in this world, and I've seen where many of us, if you listen, are losing our soul. What they did to children and what they do to children through abortion, where people think nothing of it, in war, where people think nothing of it, and what is happening right now to children via big tech. Children are taking their own lives. They're doing it themselves. This is how bad it is, because it's a corruption of the soul. It's the evaporation of hope. It's a destruction of a worldview. It's a destruction of perception. We have so many battlegrounds, so many fronts, but this is a war against children. These people they not only, if they're not seducing them and actually knowing them in the biblical sense and just destroying them, killing them. Think about what I'm saying. Think about what I'm saying. Call it Moloch, call it whatever you want. Baal, or it is so wonderfully and beautifully complicated. And we are not going to go anywhere. We are not backing up, not backing off. Don't lose focus. Don't let the overwhelming facts throw you off. We're going to get to the bottom of this, my friend. Let me also tell you, thank you. Thank you for the wonderful support tonight. Thank you for being you. Thank you for you caring on a Saturday night. Here you are, worried about these matters. You are a true believer. You're not just saying this to pretend. You worry about this. You love Candace. You understand what she's doing. And your loyalty and your commitment to the cause is it's beautiful. And I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you. So let me thank you. Thank you for your kindness. Thank you for what you've shown me and my wife and Mrs. L. Thank you for this. You have been just, and I think you understand. I hope you realize the sincerity of what we're talking about. I'm not kidding around here. I'm not kidding around. It kills you after a while, but it does in a good way. I've been fighting the fight for a long time now. This is the best one. So to answer your question, it's complicated and it's scary, but it's doable. And we're going to win this. We are going to win this because, goodness and light always triumphs. Always, always. My friend, I thank you. Have a glorious and a great and a wonderful the rest of your evening. Today, New York City was so beautiful. Oh, it was like 85 degrees. We had a 9th Avenue street fair. Everybody was out. People were happy. It was just absolutely beautiful. I got a brand new cast iron frying pan. I'm going to be seasoning. Can't wait to, those are so. Everybody has to have one. It's the only way to cook. The only way to cook. All right, my friends, I love you. Thank you so much. Tonight, from 2 to 5 a.m. Eastern time, I'm going to be on WABC on the show called Another Side of Midnight. It's actually the Lionel show. And I'm going to be talking about stuff that blows their mind. Listen to it tonight, WABC. And when you do, make sure you say you're a part of the Lionel Nation, so I'll know who you are. We had somebody call one week, goes, "Hey, this is Jamie." I said, "Jamie, I thought it was a man. I thought Jamie was a woman. I didn't know because I just saw the name." You know how you think about what people are going to look like? So you always have priority. All right, my friends, I love you. Have a great and a glorious night. Don't forget, as we always end, the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya. Da-da.